3:38. What a ride by Marks. Lost so much distance halfway through, but was on her schedule, never looked in trouble. It was just what the other rider on the other side of the track was doing. So Claudia Marks, great finish, puts herself up into the top 2 positions for now. So we move on. This is our final heat, heat number 6. It's an all-Irish affair. In the back straight, please welcome Alice Sharp. And in the home straight, please welcome Kelly Murphy. Both riders away cleanly out of the start gates, and judging by the way they went off in the first 10 to 15 metres, I'd say both riders on very, very big gears. Really just got themselves away from that starting gate, didn't launch out, so I expect to see these two riders trail in their first few laps, but I think you'll see them lift through the middle sections. Because without a doubt, they've gone for a gear ratio somewhat bigger than what we've seen so far. You see them in the first lap, 7th and 12th, now moving up to 4th and 5th straight away. And 2 Irish riders. And if you go by seedings, these will be the 2 faster Irish riders, and we've already got a 3:26 up on the board from Mia Griffin. 2 and 5, Kelly Murphy. It's the rider who's just moving that little bit quicker. There's not too much between them though. Kelly Murphy into the home straight this time. We'll see what her time is across the first kilometre. Fastest time, 1:12.362 here. We could have an all-Ireland final in the National Individual Pursuit Championship here today. The way Kelly Murphy is riding. Mia Griffin set the fastest time, 3:26.515. Then we've got Claudia Marks at 3:30, Felicity Wilson-Haffenden at 3:30. They'll be keeping a sharp eye on the time of Alice Sharp at the moment. And both of those riders will want to be able to ride for a medal here. Kelly Murphy setting the fastest time at the moment. Alice Sharp's got herself into the 4th fastest position just for now. Kelly Murphy moving beautifully as she comes through the home straight. She heads down the back straight now. 4.5 laps to go for Murphy. We'll have a look now. She'll get 4 laps to go. Goes across the line, 2:17. So she's right on the time of Mia Griffin. Won't be much between those 2 times at the moment. 2:17, looking for bettering of 3:26. She's still doing it though. She's inside the time of Mia Griffin. Alice Sharp still showing that she is the 4th rider out on track. I can't imagine there's much between 4th and 5th at the moment when you look at the scoreboard and look at what's been set already. Kelly Murphy goes through. Still the fastest time out on track. Alice Sharp still showing up as the 4th fastest. We could have 3 Irish riders in the top 4 here today, and Claudia Marks being the only rider from Australia in the final 4. Kelly Murphy comes through, still the fastest time, looking to try and get herself inside the 3:25 zone here. This is a good ride. Alice Sharp also doing equally as good a ride here, keeping herself in the top 4. Put your hands together for Kelly Murphy. She's going to go across 3:25.142. Alice Sharp, where's she going to stop the clock? It will be the 5th fastest time in the end. Looks like the 5th fastest time possibly there, 3:30.610. So we've got 2 Irish riders. First and second, Kelly Murphy and Mia Griffin. They'll ride for gold and silver, which means the National Championship will be a great contest between Claudia Marks from the ACT and Felicity Wilson-Haffenden. 3:30.06 for Marks and 3:30.338 for Felicity Wilson-Haffenden. That's going to be a tight contest for the National Championship as we have internationals joining our ranks this year. We'll look forward to those races as the time goes on this afternoon. We'll move on to our next event very shortly. So we'll be moving back on to our women's sprinting very shortly, our junior women's 19 sprint quarterfinals and our elite women's sprint quarterfinals. Take this moment, ladies and gentlemen, to have a freshen up, get yourselves a drink. We've just got a track repair that has to take place around the 200 metre mark, about 2 metres down from the fence line. So that'll take a few minutes. Just take this chance to just get a freshen up, get yourselves a drink. We'll be back with you shortly. So we thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen, and we welcome you back, and we come back on to racing now with race number 2 of our Junior Women 19s Sprint quarterfinals. And we welcome back heat number 1, race number 2. This is Lilia Tatarinov, rider 132, and Phoenix Julian, rider 134. Tatarinov is 1 ride up in this contest. She wins this one, she goes into the semi-finals. So the first ride between these two, we saw them, Phoenix Julian let it out, gave it everything she possibly could. Lily Tatarinov did all she had to do to make sure she won. Didn't leave much between her and her opponent. So she's full of confidence in her ability. But there's been a couple of little breaks in the afternoon here with 1 or 2 mishaps, and of course with a couple of sections of track just need to be looked at. So that disrupts the preparation of some of these riders. They sit around a little bit longer than they're used to. We'll see how they go. Lily Tatarinov leads through. Nowhere near full gas at the moment, just having a good look at her opponent, and now up round the outside. Phoenix Julian tried to catch her by surprise, but look at the power of Tatarinov. Waited for her opponent to get to her. Now she's just going to ride her off quite comfortably so. She'll put herself into the semi-finals. 2 comfortable rides to get there. Good riding by Phoenix Julian. Nothing to be ashamed of. She's going up against the number 1 seed here. And it's the quarterfinals of the National Championships. So put your hands together for our 2 young riders. We're going to see a lot more of both of them as the years go on, and also as the next few days happens here at the National Track Championships. Move on now to heat number 2, race number 2. 2 Queensland riders, Ella Liang and Olivia Wright. Ella's 1 ride up. Ella leads away, 2nd fastest qualifier this morning. We got to see her wear her Oceania Champions scratch race jersey last night in the racing, which was nice to see. Took that title in New Zealand in the last couple of weeks. Ella likes to race. She's the 2nd fastest qualifier. Not worried about just taking it easy on this one, applying the tactics, changing the tactics up against Olivia Wright here. As we saw Lily Tatarinov, the number 1 seed, just do as little effort as she possibly could, just saving the legs for the next part of the day. I love the way Ella races. She just takes on every opponent as if they're as good as her or better than her and rides accordingly. Teaching herself new skills at the top of the track as well, trying things out that she might be able to use later. Now she gets underway. Got too much strength, too much speed for Olivia Wright. She'll go through the 200 metres. She's going to qualify comfortably into the quarterfinal. Olivia Wright turns the gas off as she leaves the back straight. She knows she can't get there this time. Put your hands together for Ella. Put your hands together for Olivia, the 2 Queenslanders. Great honour to wear the state colours on your home track at a national championship. So we move on to Heat 3 now. This is race number 2 between our two Victorian riders. Rider 146, that is Hope Harnety. 145, at the top of the track is Hayley Jack. Harnety was the faster of the two qualifiers here, but Hayley Jack had great tactics in the first one, took ride number 1. So can Hope Harnety get one back on her here? Much stronger, much faster in the qualifying ride, but Hayley Jack, such a good tactician, such a good fighter in the one-on-one racing as well. Just has that next level when it comes down to this style of sprinting. So Hayley Jack leads through, the smaller of the two in stature. That's why the qualifying time, not necessarily fantastic yet for Hayley. She's got a little bit more developing to do, but when it comes to the battle, what they're doing now, you can see the tactics are being employed now. As a Hope just tries to pin her up on the fence. Hayley Jack was wise to it straight away, got herself out of the box straight away. They head to the home straight with the bell lap this time. Hope Harnety not looking over her shoulder. She's going to have to look in a second because Hayley Jack got into the metre line first and took full advantage of it. Hope Harnety didn't have a look under her shoulder, wasn't expecting it. They got to the bend, she found out Hayley was there, and Hayley's going to ride her off into the home straight. Hope's going to try, but Hayley Jack is going to hang on. Clever bike riding there from Hayley Jack. She'll move through to the semi-finals. We move on to the final heat of our race number 2, quarterfinals. We'll welcome up onto the track from New South Wales. Please welcome Maya Dillon. And from Queensland, please welcome Victoria Smith. Maya Dillon is one ride up. There's not too much between these two riders speed-wise. Better tactics in the first one from Maya Dillon. I think Victoria Smith's got the speed to really take Maya on here, possibly take the ride off her. But it all comes down to the tactics, as we've seen in the previous ride with Hayley Jack against Hope Harnety. It's just good bike racing all round, good contest all round here from our junior women 19 sprinters. Maya Dillon leads into the home straight. This time they'll get 2 laps to go. Everything to play for. Trying to get themselves into the semi-finals. And Victoria Smith on the home track. Really will be trying to hope just to take this ride off her. They start to gain some height down the back straight. Different tactic this time from Victoria Smith. Getting herself in front, but she's starting this sprint from a very, very long way out. Comes up to bell lap now. Victoria Smith leads. Maya Dillon, she's got herself in the slipstream as they head down the back straight. The drag race opens up and Maya Dillon out of the saddle, too strong up round the outside. It looks like she'll come into the home straight. She'll take this one. She'll find herself in the semi-final later today. Good riding there from Maya Dillon. Good try from Victoria Smith. So we'll continue on now with our sprinting, and we'll move back to our elite women's sprint quarterfinals. We'll bring back race number 1, race number 2, heat number 1. Please welcome back to the track in a new skin suit, all patched up, the defending champion Christina Clonan from Queensland, and her opponent from New South Wales, Selena Ho. So this time it's Christina's turn to lead away. If you're just joining us now this afternoon on our AusCycling YouTube channel, and you might not have seen the racing so far, Christina Clonan took the first race in this best of 3, but unfortunately, in the first time they went to the track, she fell. No fault of anyone's, just a cycling mishap. She fell off. She had to go straight down to the medical room, tore her skin suit to pieces, left the medical room, came straight back up onto the track, onto the bike, and took ride number 1. So she's a very tough customer, is Christina Clonan. So a change of skin suit, a bit more of a patch up of the burns on her thigh the track has caused, and now here she is. Just wants to get through this quarter final, get onto the semis. She's got a tough opponent here in Selena Ho. Selena Ho loves the tactics. They go down the back straight. Christina Clonan, world's medalist in the 500-metre time trial. She's so strong, she's so fast. She's the fastest qualifier here today. Selena Ho in the slipstream. Hasn't given herself a lot of room to be able to slingshot past here, but they go to the back straight this time. Clonan now out of the saddle. Selena Ho going with her, but she's not able to get up round the hip there. And Christina Clonan just too strong. Gets herself through there comfortably in the end. She'll be happy with that. She can go and relax a little bit and start to think about the semi-final. We welcome back heat number 3 now, race number 2. This is between Jackie Manglemore of Queensland and Christine Perkins from WA. Jackie Manglemore taking the first ride. So Perkins will lead away this time. Manglemore, second fastest qualifier this morning, 11.07. Christina Clonan went through in 10.8. Then you had Alicia McCaig in 11.08. Then Sophie Watts, 11.2. So nothing between Jackie Manglemore and Alicia McCaig, who won the Kieran last night. Manglemore didn't ride the Kieran, saved the legs for today. Seems to be paying dividends for her at the moment. She takes on Christine Perkins. Perkins made the final of the Kieran last night, ended up with 5th place. As I've said before, first time in many, many years since we've seen Christine Perkins racing. Only been back on the bike something like 13 to 14 weeks after having multiple decades away from the sport. From the sport of riding herself anyway. She's taking on Jackie Manglemore as they go around the top of the track. You're dealing with a world-class sprinter in Christine Perkins. She'll try the tactics here against Manglemore. She's got to try and hold her up as best she can here They go into the 200, still on the outside, and now they're into the metre line down the back straight. Good riding here from Perkins. She's really putting the pressure on Mengler Moore. Christine Perkins, hello. Christine Perkins takes the second ride. That's going to upset the apple cart. Tactics are plenty here on the Anna Meares Velodrome, and Christine Perkins squares the ledger. Put your hands together. Great piece of riding here from the West Australian. Takes the ride in front of Jackie Mengler Moore. One of the first rides to go to 3 in our quarterfinals here. We move on to heat number 4, race number 2, and we bring back Alessia McCaig. Sorry, not heat number 4, heat number 3. Heat number 3, Alessia McCaig was the third fastest qualifier this morning. She won the first one here against Emma Stevens. So McCaig leads the way. Kieran champion last night. So he's already going home with the jersey and a gold medal. We've seen some great tactical riding here over the last 2 days. Not even 2 days yet. It's just our third session of racing. McCaig keeping a good eye on Emma Stevens. Should have seen the ride previously of Christine Perkins against Jackie Mengler Moore. Sprinters know that anything can happen in the one-on-one racing. Nothing's just a given, but Alessia McCaig, she's making sure she keeps herself out of trouble as they go down the back straight. McCaig having a look under the saddle, trying to find out where Emma Stevens is, where she is, as she's got herself up onto the hip comfortably, but she knows she can't get round Alessia McCaig. It was a good fight by Stevens, but McCaig goes through comfortably into the semi-finals. Now we move on to heat number 4, race number 2. And we may welcome back onto the track from Queensland, Sophie Watts, and from New South Wales, Thomason Clark. Thomason Clark took ride number 1. So we've seen a couple of rides with reverse seatings here. Turn the seatings around. Now, can Thomason Clark do it again and find herself into the semi-finals? Or can Sophie Watts bounce back? 4th fastest in qualifying this morning. We'll be trying to make sure she gets this one taken care of, give herself another crack at the dice. For those of you joining us on the AusCycling YouTube channel, those of you joining us in the grandstand, we've got the junior men's 19 qualifying scratch races to come. We're going to see some scratch races very shortly. So if you've got friends around Australia who love watching the racing, just give them a reminder. We've got some great racing about to happen as the same as the racing we've seen so far and seeing right now. The excitement is just going to build as the day goes on. They head to the back straight. Sophie Watts dictating terms at the moment as they come into the home straight. She was the faster of the two in qualifying. Can she reproduce that speed now and square the ledger here? Second ride of the quarterfinal. They head down the back straight. Watts leads the way, but Clark really trying to get in that slipstream. Hasn't been able to quite get there just yet. Watts strong up the home straight. Clark's not going to get there. They're going to go to 3 rides as well. Great contest here in the elite women's sprint. We've got 2 of our heats that have to go to a 3rd ride. Meanwhile, Christina Clonan and Alessia McCaig, well, they can go put the feet up, come back later on. Well, they won't even be worried about who they're going to meet in the semi-finals. They're just more worried about being able to have a relax, cool down, and recover from the racing so far. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for our junior men's qualifying scratch race, 4 riders from each of these next 2 races will be eliminated. They won't make the final tonight. For those of you who have seen any style of junior men's racing, you know this is going to be absolutely cutthroat. No one wants to miss out on the final. So get ready for 2 lots of 20-lap races that are going to be very exciting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Our first heat, first qualifying heat of our junior men's 19s. Quickest way to describe it, the last 4 across the line at the finish won't qualify for the final. So as much as we can watch the normal, regular sprint finish for the win, when it comes down to the last lap, it's only the last 4 riders that are really going to matter. Win it for bragging rights, win it to make sure that your legs are going well. Just make sure you're not in the last 4. Here we go. 19 laps to go as they go through. Good to see good depth in numbers. 2 from Tasmania, 3 from South Australia in there. Victoria 2, New South Wales with 2, ACT only on 1, and a couple of West Australians in there as well. 3 Queenslanders in this heat. We've got Will Holmes in there who rode 3:08 and broke the national record yesterday in the individual pursuit. Come through this time. Just a solid tempo, nothing crazy though, just a solid tempo. Luke Rickett swings up from Queensland, drops to the back of the field. Zane Fisher, New South Wales in the pink helmet. Commentator's dream when you suddenly see a rider with a pink helmet and everyone else is wearing white and black. That way he'll get mentioned a lot. Same as Chris Wright, the red helmet in the West Australian skin suit, about 6 from the front. Mental note, if you want your name mentioned, look different to everybody else at the National Championship. Chris Wright now comes through, leading quite nicely. Did a good pursuit ride yesterday. The pace has gone up when they start to line out the way they are. Just short, sharp turns. There'll be a lot of nerves in this one. Nobody wants to miss out. Zane Fisher. Maybe I mentioned it too early. Doesn't seem too interested in this one. Just dropping off a little bit there. So unfortunately for Zane, a little bit under the weather by the looks of things as he drops out the back. So that means we'll be looking for the final 3 riders in this bunch when it comes to the sprint finish. Because with Zane Fisher gone, we're only going to worry about 3. Pace is on though now. Gap starting to open up. Daylight appearing between wheels as they head down the back straight. The junior men's 19s. Pace moving nicely. Short, sharp turn. No effort being made with the length of turns at the moment. Pace just drops off. Nicely controlled on the front as they start to stack up a little bit. South Australians not bothered about the pace. Doesn't need to be flat out. We've got a race again today. You can see them all starting to go up the track. I come through this time. Tasmanian swinging up there. It was Alex Eves, number 111. His teammate goes to the front down the back straight. Nicholas Broxham. Just a little bit more calm now. 9 laps to go. And you get the feeling with about 5 or 6 laps to go, this pace is going to go up. It might not be as lined out. It might be 2 to 3 wide as they're starting to do now, just trying to keep themselves in position. It'll be like trying to get a square peg into a round hole towards the end of this race for these kids, trying to make sure they can make the final here this evening. They head down the back straight. Queensland, WA, South Australia, Tasmania. 1 or 2 swinging up. They want to go to the front too early. They've still got 7 laps to go when they come into the home straight this time. See Will Holmes in the middle of the bunch in South Australian, just sitting on the tops of the handlebars like he's riding his road bike around the streets. And the other South Australian starting to launch himself off the front. This is a good move here because they've let him go. Heads down the back straight now, Jamie Buckley. Good move there from Jamie Buckley. He got that 75 to 100 metres of crash there. Touch of wheels, 2 riders coming together, only one coming down, unfortunately. Jamie Buckley will lead down the back straight. Don't think there's going to be any time to get back in. There's no time to get back in for that young Victorian. So now that's 2 riders who are going to miss out here, and it looks like it's Nicholas Broxham, the Tasmanian, who came together with the Victorian rider who's gone down, and he can't get his foot back in. So now we're looking at just losing 1 rider from this main field now, because we've got 1 pulled out, we've got 1 who's fallen off, and now we've got Nicholas Broxham. The commissaires are going to have to look at the Tasmanian as he comes into the home straight because he's pulled his foot from that mishap. Buckley goes through, Broxham up onto the wheel. So Broxham is out the back of the group. It's the last rider in this bunch we're going to be looking for to miss out as they go through now down the back straight with 1.5 laps to go. You'll be looking for the last rider in the bunch here who's going to miss out on making the final here. We've already lost 3 because Broxham's out the back as well, unfortunately, the young Tasmanian. We turn our attention. Jamie Buckley's going to win the ride from South Australia, but we have a look down the back straight and who's in trouble. It's almost like an elimination race now. They'll come into the home straight. We'll have a look for numbers. Oh, I tell you what, it's either New South Wales or South Australia unofficially. That was very touch and go. We're going to have to leave that one to our judging panel. We had a New South Wales rider at the top of the track. We had a South Australian right at the bottom. I won't mention names, but it's going to be between New South Wales and South Australia who's possibly missed out there. But we'll wait for the official results to come through. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to have a little bit of a hold up to repair the back straight from that mishap in the previous ride. Just bear with us and we'll be up with our second junior men's scratch race qualifying ride. As soon as we get the results, they'll go up onto the scoreboard to see who are the riders who are through and who's missed out. So the final result up on the scoreboard, the top 9 there. It's the next page we look for. And we look at the last 4 names on the list. So the result, Jamie Buckley won the event. None of them showing qualification, but we look down the list. Nicholas Broxham, Will Holmes, Liam Gotham, and Luke Rickard showing 11, 12, 13, 14 as the result. We'll just get confirmation on that. So if you're looking for results of all of our racing this week, you can go to results.auscycling.org.au. Now we look at the result of heat number 1 of our Junior 19 scratch race qualifying, keeping in mind the final 4 riders across the line are the ones who would be missed out. Jamie Buckley from South Australia won it. Then we had Toby Jones from Queensland, Bailey McDonald from the ACT, Patrick May from New South Wales, Will Mathwin from South Australia, Kyle Gibbs, Queensland, was 6th. And then 7th was Alex Eves from Tasmania. 8th was Eddie Jerovic from Victoria. 9th was Donovan Mackey from WA. 10th was Christopher Wright from WA. 11th was Luke Rickett from Queensland. And 12th was Liam Galtman from New South Wales. So the 4 riders, based on our results here, who will miss out: Zane Fisher did not finish. Lawson Fransman unfortunately fell off. As part of that fall, Nicholas Broxham pulled his foot and lost distance, so he's out. And Will Holmes from South Australia was the last man across the line from that bunch sprint, so he misses out as well. So Holmes, Broxham, Fransman and Fisher don't make the scratch race final here this evening, as we go on to our next event, which will be heat number 2, event 45B of the Junior Men's 19 scratch race qualifying. So we're away again. Junior men's qualifying for the scratch race final. They go through 19 laps to go. 3 South Australians, 3 Victorians in this one, 3 Queensland, only 1 from WA, 2 from Tasmania and 1 from the ACT as they head down the back straight this time. As we've seen in the first one, anything can happen in these qualifying rides. 1 or 2 riders a little bit more attentive to this one. The ACT rider is Ed Marks, man in the yellow jersey swinging up the top of the track. The West Australian Sam Washington on the front now as he comes through. Good pace being set here by this heat number 2 group. Everyone up onto the wheel, everyone quite comfortable just at the moment. We'd have saw in the first one though, chaos can happen very quickly. It wasn't too bad, but there was one coming together of riders which took out 2. 1 got dropped, and then one of our favourites just got out of position in that final sprint, just caught out by half a wheel. That's all it has to be in these situations as they head down the back straight. Pace is on now. 1 or 2 riders just overlapping wheels, just trying to settle themselves in. First ride yesterday for most of these riders in the individual pursuit. Pace is going up nicely now. They'll come through this time, 13 laps to go. 12 laps to go when they come through this time for our junior 19s. Sam Washington goes back to the front, swings up now. Tasmania up onto the front. It's a short, sharp turn. Just trying to ride position more than anything. Keep themselves out of trouble. Be attentive without doing too much work. This heat seems somewhat more solid than the first heat. There's a lot more intent here. Everyone just happy to keep the pace high. They're doing short turns about it, but they're happy to make sure this keeps rolling forward. I don't want to get messed up, start bumping into each other like the first ride did towards the end there. One or two riders very happy just to keep this lined out for as long as they can. As we saw with the first one, with about 4 laps to go, they'll start to be 2 and 3 and 4 across the track, just trying to move forward. Now the pace goes out. We saw the same tactics from the South Australian team in the first ride. It was South Australia who turned off the gas about halfway in the first race. Now we're seeing the same again, and one of the South Australians trying to get on with it. They saw the tactic of their teammate Jamie Buckley. They're wise to it this time, the bunch. However, they're all starting to swing up. South Australia go on with it down the back straight. One of those gaps that if you don't close it straight away, you might as well let it go. Let somebody else worry about it. The South Australian heads down the back straight now. Looking quite nice, quite strong at the moment. That's Jack Clark. So Clark has got some work to do though, because this race is moving that little bit quicker than the early one. Now they start to swing up. As soon as they swing up, somebody else dives back down to go on with it. Oscar Gallagher just relaxed over the front end of the bike as he went through that time. Jack Clark got some work to do here, but he's going on with it nicely. 5 laps to go for Jack Clark. I'd say he wants about another 75 metres to be safe. Wants to make sure he's got that full half a lap before they start to barrel home from behind. Jack Clark, get behind this. This is a chance to get into the final later tonight. 4 laps to go, 1,000 metres of the track. And he's got a teammate who comes to the front. Then Ed Marks, who's got no teammates in it, so he's not going to chase either. He'll be looking after the legs. Have a look at Jack Clark. He's home and hosed now. He's going to come through with 3 laps to go. He'll be very comfortable about the idea of going off the front. Now we have to start to turn our attention to the back end of this main field, because 4 riders are going to miss out from this sprinting group with 3 laps to go. We're only looking for 1 before, because we'd already lost 3 before this point. So this is going to be really cutthroat in the last couple of laps. Jack Clark goes through, 2 laps to go for him. He's home and hosed. We have a look at the field. Ed Marks doing the right thing, setting a tempo that he can handle at the front of the group, letting them come round him, then trying to chase onto the wheel. Great riding from the rider from the ACT. Jack Clark will go through. He's got a lap to hang on to qualify. Now we go to the back of the bunch. Sam Washington, we've got Victoria, we've got Queensland and Victoria down the back, WA, and a little bit of strife as well. Jack Clark's going to come to the home straight and take this one out. He's home and hosed. Go for 1, 2, 3, 4 at the back. Who's it going to be? Oh, I tell you what, it might be 2 Victorian, 2 Queensland as they went across the line, but we'll wait for the official results. Looked like one of the Tasmanian boys might be in a little bit of strife, but I think he just snuck in perfectly well just before the line. Sam Washington got through at last minute from WA. I think 2 Queensland, 2 Victorian, the 2 jerseys that flashed across the line in front of me here. That's unofficially. But well done to the junior men's 19, heat number 2. Everyone staying rubber side down, shiny side up. That was some good bike racing. We'll see a great final later here this evening. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, the junior men 19s. That was a great bike race for a qualifier. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll head back to our women's elite sprint now. As we saw yesterday, in our junior men's sprint and elite men's sprint. A lot more racing to come for our sprinters at the National Championships. We'll now have the 9 to 16 place sprints. The first one is 9 versus 10, and this will be Meagan Reid from Victoria. She'll be going up against Kalinda Robinson from New South Wales. The way it stands at the moment, Kalinda Robinson 9, Meagan Reid 10th. So there's a chance for Meagan to get herself up into 9th place on the final results if she can win this one here today. So Meagan Reid leads away. Kalinda Robinson, quite happy to give her a little bit of room just at the moment. We'll just have a look at the scoreboard, and it's like I said, the result of our second qualifying ride there. There's the top 10 on the front page, and that will scoot through to the next one. Then we go 13, 14, 15 and 16 miss out. So Butler, Siriani, Pratt and Rudd are the 4 riders to miss out on qualifying for the scratch race. You'll be able to see those results on results.auscycling.org.au. But it's Butler, Siriani, Pratt and Rudd who have missed out on qualifying. We're coming up to bell lap between Meagan Reid and Kalinda Robinson. Kalinda Robinson gets herself in front here. Starts to wind up. Meagan Reid, can she get in the slipstream? Can she use the slingshot effect down the back straight? She steps out down the back straight. Kalinda Robinson's got her up on their hip though. She's got a long way to come round the outside here. Twice as far to go, but Kalinda Robinson will go through. She'll end up with 9th overall in the National Sprint Championship. Top 10 for Meagan Reid. 11.92 the final 200. Now we move on to our 11 versus 12 final, and this will be Jackie Knock from Western Australia taking on Lauren Perry from Tasmania. So Jackie Knock leads away this time. At the moment, she sits in 11th place with Lauren Perry in 12th. So if Lauren can win this one, she'll move herself up a spot on the official results for this sprint championship. Jackie Knock just keeping Lauren Perry up on the track a little bit. Lauren Perry, as I said before, trying to transition herself from the enduro side of things into the sprint side of things. First attempt at it here. Won some good wheel races over the Christmas Carnival break in Tasmania, so well and truly still one of our top female track cyclists in multiple disciplines. But track sprinting, it's really become an absolute specialist event. It's not the sort of thing you can just wake up and do. There's so much gym work involved, power athletes. Lauren Perry had the opportunity to go underneath then, didn't take it on. I thought Jackie Knock wasn't really awake to the idea of it just yet. Now they'll come to the home straight. No pace on from either rider. Now Jackie Knock uses the last part of the banking to try and get herself up to speed. Now she's out of the saddle, moving nicely down the back straight. Now can Lauren Perry get in the slipstream and get round here? She digs down, puts the head down and tries to go out after her, but Jackie Knock, she's done a lot of work in her sprinting. She'll go across the line, hold on to her placing of 11th. We'll finish 11th and 12th in Jackie Knock and Lauren Perry, 12.27 as she goes across the line. We'll move on now to the 13th versus 14th sprint. New South Wales, Victoria, this one. It'll be Tyler Puchika from New South Wales up against Ning Chen from Victoria. Stare down on the start line these days in track sprinting takes on a new meaning nowadays, as everyone's wearing either a dark lens or a mirrored lens. Not really able to look into the eyes of your opponent. But it happens anyway. As they head down the back straight, Tyler Puchika leads from Ning Chen, New South Wales versus Victoria. The Victorian commentator Ian Maher tells me that Ning Chen comes from a powerlifting background, which works very well these days for track cycling, especially the sprint cycling. The size of the gear ratios that sprinters use nowadays, it really has become a powerlifting contest, especially in the 200-metre qualifier. Some of the gears you see the men using, they just don't seem to ever get on top of their gear. They're always reefing on the bike. Let's see what she can do with it here. Tyler Puchika into the elite ranks, now leads out with 1 lap to go. Chen getting the opportunity to get up alongside her here. Now Puchika gets out of the saddle, just has a look at her down the back straight. Now she's underway, is Tyler. Kept Ning Chen exactly where she wanted her to be. Now she'll ride away from her up the home straight. She'll hold on to her placing. 13th for Tyler. Ning Chen goes across. She'll end up with 14th. One more ride to go for our 9 to 16 round. So we move on to our ride for 15th and 16th of our women's elite field. It's going to be an all WA affair. The first rider that we welcome onto the track is Anna Meares. Came from the fast track program, dealing with weights, and Shane Perkins as coach. And we also welcome Zoe Clayton from Western Australia, part of the Dome cycling team in WA. She's looked after also just recently Shane Perkins, trying her hand at transitioning as a sprinter. She leads the way as they head towards the back straight this time. Bragging rights between the two West Aussies for the flight home. Zoe Clayton, an event in Western Australia called the Westrel Wheel Race, a famous wheel race. In the last decade, the women's Westrel Wheel Race was developed as well. If my memory serves me correct, Zoe Clayton has won it 4 times. Indy Lysart doesn't want to put Zoe on the front here. Zoe's going to take her on around the outside. Better known as a scratch race, points race rider, transitioning into sprint racing is Zoe. Indy's going to ride her off here. And that was a good, strong ride by Indy. She's had to take her on from a long way out. Now Zoe, can she get up into the slipstream as they head down the back straight? Indy Lysart seems to have this one in hand, though. She had a look over the shoulder down the back straight. So Indy will go through, take 15th for the championship. Zoe will go across, taking 16th. So ladies and gentlemen, we go back to our quarterfinals of our elite women's sprint. We've got 2 quarterfinals that are going to have a deciding ride, and the first one about to come out onto the track now. Please welcome back up onto the boards, representing Queensland, Jackie Mendler-Moore, and representing Western Australia, please welcome back Christine Perkins. So Perkins and Mendler-Moore, no surprise. Jackie's wanted to get herself to the front. First time we've seen somebody take front spot straight off the line like that. She's seen the tactical ability of Christine Perkins. No fear shown from Christine Perkins. She's from a different era. And she was able to hold up Jackie Mendler-Moore. Now Mendler-Moore's going to have to lead it out. Now can Christine Perkins force her to go earlier than she really wants to and hold on to that slipstream and try and come out of it? They'll get 1 lap to go now. The second fastest qualifier leads out. Christine Perkins on the wheel. Can she do anything with it from there as they head down the back straight? Mendler-Moore out of the saddle, moving very nicely indeed. She's probably going to be a little bit too strong as they come into the home straight. Great riding by both. Jackie Mendler-Moore does what she needed to do. Gets herself through to the semi-final after being the second fastest qualifier. But once again, we see Christine Perkins with a fantastic ride. 5th in the Kieran last night, up into the top 8 here. Put your hands together for Jackie. She goes through to the semis, and a great ride from Christine Perkins. So we move on now to the next of our quarterfinals that need 3 rides to decide them. Once again, we have Thomason Clark from New South Wales and her opponent, Sophie Watts of Queensland. 1 ride apiece. And each of the rides wasn't that close. Each rider took advantage of the other one's errors or mistake or just a little bit of inattentiveness, and they won their rides quite comfortably. So it's not like there's only a tyre's width between the 2 riders so far. Either one of these riders could win this one. Sophie Watts was the faster qualifier, but nothing between the times of these two. Watts just a little bit more directive in this one, speeding up, trying to put Clark into trouble. Clark's got to get up into that slipstream if she wants to take on Sophie Watts. Watts very powerful out of the saddle. Clark with a lot of work to do to get into the slipstream as they head down the back straight. She's fighting to get into the slipstream. Sophie Watts is very strong from the front. I don't think Clark can get there. Sophie Watts, she's going to hang on and she'll go through to the semi-finals as well. So in the end, we have our 1, 2, 3 and 4 fastest qualifiers in the semi-finals. It took a little bit to get them there, but it's worked out the way the qualifying said it would. We move on to the Junior Women 19 Sprint semi-final. This one to be contested by our 2 New South Wales riders. At the top of the track, rider 132 is Lily Tataranoff. Her opponent is Amaya Dillon. So Tataranoff with the blue helmet. Once she became unglued from her coach on the start line. But she's away now. So Maya Dillon leads down the back straight, just at a walking pace at the moment. I've been impressed with the way how Lily Tataranoff's ridden the couple of times we've seen her out there so far, doing no more than she actually has to as far as making the big efforts. But a couple of heavy days of racing to come. The time trial, team sprint. And here she is in the sprint now. So she's very good in the quarterfinals. It's always nice to see the top sprinters so confident in their ability in the early rounds. Sometimes it can make them unstuck a little bit. 1 or 2 get caught out, but not this time for Tataranoff. Takes full advantage this time. The pace wasn't really on at the front from Maya Dillon. She was holding the right track position, but she just didn't have any pace on at all. And maybe she's resigned to the fact that she's going up against somebody who's 2/3 of a second quicker than her over 200 metres. So Lily Tataranoff takes race number 1. This is semi-final. Remember, it's not sudden death. Best of 3. And then you'll still come out and ride again. So Maya Dillon has got some work to do to reverse the next one, but she's still got the bronze and 4th place ride to think of if she can't. So got to be a little bit smart about how you use your legs. And Tataranoff, very nicely done. Used the banking, got on top of the gear, and just a hit out for her. And she goes 1 ride up in the semi-final here. Now move on to our next ride. Please welcome onto the track Hayley Jack, who has taken all before her today. Everyone she's ridden against has predominantly been a faster qualifier. You wouldn't have thought that the way she's ridden though. The little Victorian is going up against the Queenslander, Ella Liang, at the top of the track. The second fastest qualifier this morning, Ella. So Hayley Jack leads the way. A little bit quicker than walking pace here from Hayley. Moves to the top of the track. She's got more than one tactic, Hayley Jack, but the one she does like is to be able to come from behind. Ella equal to the task. She knew what was coming, just followed Hayley Jack to the top of the fence. Gave herself some room, was about to pull up as well. She knew that was going to happen. These riders, they study each other. They work out what their favourite tactics are. Jack comes across the start-finish line this time. Thought about it, thought better of it. Now they'll head to the back straight. Not a lot of pace on. You can see Jack just slowed down in the bend a little bit, just trying to maybe taunt Ella into moving forward. Now she's going to try and keep her high, leaving all the track open underneath her. Ella just quite happy to sit on the wheel here. They'll come into the home straight. Now she moves forward. Hayley Jack just missing that one ever so slightly. Only the difference of metres. They head down the back straight. Hayley Jack's got herself into the slipstream, but I think Ella is a little bit stronger than the rest. But have a look at Hayley Jack. Hayley Jack up round the outside. Is she going to get there? No, she won't get there. Ella will take it. Ride number one in the semi-final goes to the Queenslander. You can guarantee racing against Hayley Jack, though, you're going to race all the way to the finish line. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to take a few minutes. I've just got to relay the timing tape in the back straight. That'll take 2 or 3 minutes to do so. So an opportunity for you to get a refreshment or have a break for a couple of moments, and then we'll be back on with some individual pursuiting medal rides. We'll be back in 1 moment. So the little repairs all done. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to event 49A. This is the Junior Women 19s Individual Pursuit Bronze Medal Final. Please welcome in the back straight, representing Queensland, Amelie Sanders. In the home straight, representing Victoria, please welcome Lilith Jones. Both riders away, nice and clean out of the start now. So Lilith Jones goes through. Just a little bit quicker in the first lap start. Sure, Amelie Sanders is going to get a fair bit of encouragement here on the Queensland track. And Jones was very good in qualifying, as was Sanders. Up into the top four, no trouble at all. It's a big ask on a very, very hot day. It's very hot in the track centre, very hot outside. Quite humid. You just don't know how riders will back up. It's not a given in these sort of conditions that we'll see exactly what each rider does the same each time they get out. We saw that yesterday. We saw Will Holmes do a 3:08 in the morning session, the fastest time we've ever seen of junior men's 19 individual pursuit. But he won the final comfortably, caught his man, went on for a time, but was some seconds behind. So it does change how your body works in these conditions. Lilith Jones leads the way, but not by much. Heads down the back straight with 2.5 laps to go. Amelie Sanders, what can she do over these last 2 laps? Can she lift? Can she sprint home against the Victorian? Because Lilith Jones looks very comfortable indeed here for the bronze medal. She'll head round and get a lap and a half to go. We've seen 1 or 2 riders really improve in the last 2 laps in the pursuit so far today and also yesterday, especially in the men's elite championship. But Lilith Jones looks very comfortable for a bronze medal coming her way. She heads down the back straight. She's got this one in hand, the Victorian. Good ride here from Amelie Sanders as well from Queensland, but Lilith Jones will come into the home straight and finish off, take the bronze medal back to Victoria, 2:24.252. Amelie Sanders will end in 4th place. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the final of the Junior Women's 19s Individual Pursuit. And we welcome to the line in the back straight from South Australia, Liani Vanderberg. And in the home straight from the ACT, we welcome Lauren Bates. Clean start now for both riders. There was nothing between these two, if you remember the qualifying earlier today. Lauren Bates got stronger and stronger, and the ride really sprinted home well over the last 2.5 laps. It was a controlled ride the whole way throughout. Great piece of coaching, great piece of riding in the qualifier. Vandenberg, she glistened out of the start in the qualifying, really flew. But Lauren Bates, she started this one very differently in the final. We saw her strength in the scratch race last night. So she started a bit quicker in this one. She leads Vandenberg just at the moment, but Vandenberg getting herself going now, getting herself back on terms with Lauren Bates. Bates comes into the home straight. Nothing between the two, and 0.026. This is a close ride to this point. Anyway, 4.5 laps to go. They'll come round to the halfway point, and Vandenberg is starting to really move nicely here. We'll have a look at the halfway point. Vandenberg leads, takes the lead to 0.218 here. This is a real contest between these two young women. Vandenberg getting a lot of support around the track. 3 laps to go. Bates lifting. Bates lifts herself back into the top spot. Now it's 0.26 in favour of Bates. Can Vandenberg come back from here? Bates still leads now. Just extends the lead ever so slightly. This is what we saw from Lauren Bates in the qualifying ride. She really lifts over these last 2 to 3 laps, and she's doing that here now. Out to a 1 second lead. Lauren Bates is really showing her strength. A lap and a half to go for Lauren Bates. She's going to put another gold medal around her neck here today. Into the home straight, she'll receive the bell. Arms folded from the coach. He's walked the line, and when he walks away from the rider, he knows that he's telling his rider that she is well and truly up. She'll start to catch sight of Vandenberg just out of her peripheral vision around the track. But put your hands together for Lauren Bates of the ACT with a very impressive ride, 2:22.138. Leanne Vandenberg, she goes through 2:24.6. Great ride there as well. Silver medal in the National Championship for Leanne Vandenberg. Once again, put your hands together for Lauren Bates. She's showing us that she is the standard for the junior women's 19s here this year at the National Championships. All team managers, all riders on the track centre. A message from the Chief Commissaire. Could all Kieran riders be ready to go after the second ride of the women's sprints? All Kieran riders be ready to go after the second ride of the women's sprints today, because if there is a need for a third ride, that will happen after the Kierans. So all Kieran riders be ready to go after the second ride of the women's sprints. Thank you. We move on now to race number 2 of the Junior Women 19 Sprint semi-final. Lily Tatarinov took ride number 1. Hasn't put a foot wrong today. Her opponent is Maya Dillon. So this is where the tactics of bike racing come in. Maya Dillon, does she try everything and throw the kitchen sink at her teammate to try and take a ride off her? Or does she think about the ride off for bronze and 4th place? They head down the back straight to Tatarinov. Well clear in the qualifying rides this morning. But as we've seen with Hayley Jack, the Victorian, she's taken all before her, and she really challenged Ella Liang in the first ride of their sprint matches. So anything can happen, one-on-one racing as they head down the back straight to Taranoff, just keeping an eye on Maya Dillon. So no surprises coming here as they come into the home straight, because the Taranoff isn't going to be a surprise because she's kept her head turned the whole time. She allows Dillon to get up around the outside of her though. Now she's just going to start to wind up down the back straight. Happy for her to get to the handlebars, but she then just turns on the power. Lily Taranoff just swings out of the red line a little bit. Doesn't affect the race, but it's one of those things that you don't want to get in a habit of too badly. But Taranoff takes ride number 2, 13.06. She'll go through to the final. And Maya Dillon, we will see her race for the bronze medal a little bit later today. We move on now to race number 2 of our sprint semi-final, the junior women's 19s. Ella Liang from Queensland took the first race. It was a good contest though. Hayley Jack took her on. Couldn't get past the bottom bracket in the end, Hayley Jack, so a little bit of work to do, but you get the feeling Hayley would be doing everything she can to take a ride off Ella here. And they roll away now. It'll be interesting to see what they do in the back straight. We know if Hayley was on the front, she'd swing to the fence and start playing around. Ella might not have the same tactic. I'd say Ella's going to back the fact that she is stronger, she is faster, she knows that. Hayley's big advantage here is her tactics. Just caught underneath the wheels. Can't do anything from there at the moment. Good riding here from Liang. She's dictating terms very nicely, deciding what we're going to do. Hayley Jack moves up round the outside, a bit of a bump together here as Ella Liang goes up into Hayley Jack, just moving her up the track ever so slightly. Now they go to the fence. Ella Liang takes on every opponent like they're an equal. Looking for some space here, and Hayley Jack hasn't managed to do it. The gun sounds, they'll come back to the start line. So we'll have a restart in race number 2. The reason being, the lead rider was in the sprinter's lane already. Ella Liang was in the sprinter's lane. Hayley Jack passed her, but she passed her underneath and off the track, which you're not able to do in that situation. So our chief starter, Wayne Primaria, doing the right thing, bringing it back to the line. The difference being, though, it's now Hayley's turn to lead. So there's many, many ways to use your tactics in cycling, especially in sprint cycling. Hayley Jack, every other race we've seen her go to the fence down the back straight first time round. Doesn't do it this time. And she has an arsenal of different tactics to use here. Now she's in front of Ella Liang. Ella not afraid to use her track craft and move around the boards of the Anna Meares Velodrome. As they head down the back straight, the pace starting to build a little bit. Ella being able to push through that little area there and does so nicely. Now she's going very early this time, Ella Liang. Hayley Jack, can she get herself into the slipstream? Is she in the slipstream? Not quite. Ella Liang just riding away from her a little bit faster than I think Hayley was ready for. Didn't quite make the slipstream this time, Hayley. They come into the home straight. She's running at her now, though, as they come into the home straight. Is she going to get there? Oh, I tell you what, I think Ella got it. We'll leave that to the judges, though. Hayley came from the clouds in that last couple of metres. But that one would have to go to the photograph. We'll wait for the official result. Ella Liang goes to the final of the Australian sprint title. Great racing between Ella and Hayley there. And we'll see Hayley in the bronze medal ride-off later today. So, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to one of the most exciting events on the track. And this is round one of the junior men's Kieran. Patrick May from New South Wales, Harry Preston from Queensland, Tate Ryan from South Australia, Hamish Clarkson from Victoria, Donovan Mackey from Western Australia. So 3 heats of the junior men's Kieran round number 1. The first 2 in each heat, they'll go straight through. Everyone else will go to the repechage. Fun and games on the start line. We'll let them roll round, then they'll come back to the start. Alrighty, here we go. The motorbike on its way. Heat 1 of the junior men's Kieran. 2 to the final, the rest of the repechage. Patrick May has drawn the front spot from New South Wales. We go Harry Preston, Don Mackey, then Tate Ryan, and on the back from Victoria is Hamish Clarkson. Just a quick apology from me for any family members listening of Maya Dillon. I've been calling Maya all day, and I've just been corrected, so my humble apologies to Maya Dillon. We're going to see her in the bronze medal sprint ride-off against Hayley Jack a little bit later today, but it's Maya Dillon, not Maya, and I apologise for that. No one's yelled at me, somebody's just told me, that's all. But I know what it's like when your name's not pronounced correctly. They go through with 4 laps to go. Everyone just having a look over the shoulder, no gaps opening up at the moment. Now Patrick May just leans himself back from the motorbike ever so slightly. Doesn't want to get boxed in. Not likely to get dive bombed at 3 to go, but all the same, you want a bit of clear space. The motorbike comes out, 3 laps to go. 2 riders go through, but there's a couple of bites of the cherry for these guys because they can have a go in the repechage if they get it terribly, terribly wrong here. Tate Ryan in 4th wheel, so impressive yesterday in the sprint. He'll be looking to try and do a clean sweep of all of the sprint events here over the next few days. He's already done the sprint, and he'll now be looking for the Kieran. He's got the time trial that he's world champion in to go as well. They go from the front though. Patrick May taking it on from the front. This is a good piece of riding. No one else is willing to take it up. He's got Donovan Mackey coming up round the outside of him from WA. Then Tate Ryan up round the outside of him. Who's going to get the second spot? WA is going to get the second spot because South Australia is going to coast across the line. Tate Ryan takes 1. Donovan Mackey takes 2. He'll go straight through to the next round. And our other 3 riders, Preston, Clarkson and Patrick May, they will go through the repechage and try and find their way back into round number 2. So we move on to heat number 2 of round 1 of our junior men's Kieran. Jeremy Cannon from New South Wales and Noah Mason, New South Wales. Mitch Louis from Queensland, Kai Arbery from South Australia, and Ruben Smith from Victoria. Jeremy Cannon it is, who's drawn the front spot. He's got to go up behind the motorbike. They must stay in their drawn positions for the first lap. After that, they are allowed to improve their position or change their position, but they must have a bike length between the back wheel and the front wheel of the position that they're dropping into. It's fairly rare that it happens these days. They'll come into the home straight this time. The motorbike will get out the way. 3 laps to go. Cannon on the front. Then we go back to Ruben Smith, then Noah Mason. Mitch Louis caught underneath of Kai Arbery as they head down the back straight. Jeremy Cannon got a little bit of room there. He knows how quick Ruben Smith is, so he's not going to worry too much about going early. Now 2 laps to go. Ruben Smith's going to go early. That's just what I want, he says. Noah Mason trying to go with him. Look at the pace of Smith down the back straight. He's got a long way to go, though. They're going to come up and get the bell this time. Ruben Smith leads out. They are all on the wheel. Noah Mason up into second. Down the back straight, Mitch Louis gets up onto the wheel of Mason. Ruben Smith went a bit early. He's going to have to come back through the repechage. Noah Mason and Mitch Louis, they'll go through. Then Ruben Smith, Kai Arbery and Jeremy Cannon in the end. Good piece of riding there from Noah Mason. As we welcome our third heat up onto the line. After this ride, we'll be having a presentation. After the presentation, please pay attention, all junior men under 19 riders. After the presentation, we will be having the repechage for the Kieran. So do not leave the track. The repechage will be happening straight after the presentation. Thanks very much. We move on to our next heat now. Riders coming onto the line. Xavier Bland from New South Wales, Zane Fisher, New South Wales, Archie Pratt from Queensland, Neil van der Kerk from South Australia and Daniel Power from Victoria. Here comes the motorbike. Xavier Bland it is who leads them off. He's drawn number 1 spot. Daniel Power up onto him. Then we have Zane Fisher, Neil van der Kerk, and then the Queenslander on the back is Archie Pratt. Come round this time. 4 laps to go. No one worrying too much about changing position at the moment. Daniel Power, second wheel, making sure he doesn't get boxed in. Now they're starting to move forward. Not a lot of room to do so. So the commissaires are going to have one eye open on this one as they come into the home straight. 3 laps to go. The motorbike's out the way. Now she's on as they go through the 200 metres, coming up to get 2.5 laps to go. Van der Kerk from South Australia moves himself up into second wheel. Bland still leads on the front as they come into the home straight this time. 2 laps to go. Good riding from Bland. He's just making them ride at his pace. They're not willing to attack him just yet. Power looking for a way out of the box as they go down the back straight. And he finds a way because he pushes Archie Pratt back just a little bit. Now the pace starts to go up. Bland into the home straight. Power around the outside. Van der Kerk as well. Pratt trying to make his way round. There's only the top 2 go through. Everyone else goes to the repechage. They all want to get into the top 2 here. This is a real contest. Van der Kerk, what a ride. Pushes his way through. Beautifully done. Xavier Bland will go across the line in first. Neil van der Kerk great bike riding, held his position, the gap opened up and he went through it. He goes through as well. Everyone else will go to the repechage. The repechage will happen after our presentation of the Junior Women 19 individual pursuit. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could please turn your attention to our podium and the presentation of the Junior Women 19 Individual Pursuit Championship of Australia. Jerseys and medals will be presented by Louise Jones. In third place, winner of the bronze medal, representing Victoria, Lilith Jones. In second place, winner of the silver medal, representing South Australia, Liani Vanderberg. In first place, winner of the gold medal and national champion, representing the ACT, Lauren Bates. Ladies and gentlemen, please once again show your appreciation for our national champion and medal winners. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be getting underway with the repechage of our junior men 19 Kieran very shortly as they start to make their way to the rider area. So ladies and gentlemen, 2 more events here for our day session before we all have a much needed break. But no break for our junior men 19s just yet. We've got 2 more heats. Now the top three from each of these heats will go through to round 2. Patrick May has drawn the first spot from New South Wales. Joining him on the start line, Jeremy Cannon from New South Wales, Archie Pratt from Queensland, Daniel Power from Victoria, and Ruben Smith from Victoria. 2 are going to miss out, 3 are going to go through. Very experienced man on the motorbike here, Phil Jones, riding the motorbike today. Patrick May draws the front spot on the motorbike again, so he's going to stay there for the first lap. And up behind him, we have Daniel Power. Then it's Archie Pratt from Queensland as we drop back through. Got Jeremy Cannon, second to last wheel, and then Ruben Smith. Ruben Smith tried a very long attack in his heat. Didn't come the way that he wanted it to. He's definitely one of the favourites for the medals in this event. And now he finds himself in the repechage and he's got to get himself through to the final. They head down the back straight this time. They're all just getting a little bit itchy behind the motorbike. The motorbike will come out this time. Phil Jones will bring it to the track centre, up round the outside. Daniel Power from Victoria moves through. Good riding from Archie Pratt of Queensland, gets himself through the box and out the other side of it. Always looking for an opening. They'll come into the home straight this time and receive 2 laps to go. Daniel Power on the front. Up onto his wheel is Patrick May. Then Archie Pratt. Ruben Smith just lays off a little bit, making sure he doesn't get caught out. Jeremy Cannon moves forward. Good riding here by Cannon. He was out of position. Now he's putting himself in the box seat. The first 3 is all you need to be. So Cannon may get protected by the riders in 2 and 3 here as they go down the back straight. Out of the saddle, right on top of the gear is Jeremy Cannon. He's going beautifully. Daniel Power up into second. It looks like Bland, is it? He's going to get into third. Pratt and Smith will miss out. It wasn't Bland, it was Jeremy Cannon and Patrick May. My apologies. But the 2 New South Wales riders will go through. Patrick May and Jeremy Cannon. And Daniel Power from Victoria, he'll get himself through as well. Unlucky for Ruben Smith and Archie Pratt. Their competition ends in the Kieran as the first 3 go through to round number 2. Big day of racing. A number of these riders have also ridden the qualifying rides in the scratch race as well. 1 more ride to go of our day session. We hope to see you for a 6 o'clock start here this evening. If you're joining us trackside tonight, might I suggest just come a little bit early. We've got a few surprises before we get underway with the racing, happening at about 20 minutes to 6 o'clock, so with a couple of announcements and so forth. So if you are going to join us here, if you've been watching us on YouTube AusCycling channel, make your way down. If you're in Brisbane, make your way down to the Anna Meares Velodrome this evening. Of course, the final race of the night tonight will be the men's elite points race. So loads of racing on tonight. We move on to our next heat. Once again, 3 riders are going to go through in this heat. There's only 4 riders in the race. The Victorian Hamish Clarkson has drawn front spot. Then we have Zane Fisher, Kai Arbery and Harry Preston, the motorbike on its way. If you have been joining us on the AusCycling YouTube channel, I hope you've enjoyed the show today. We've seen some great racing once again. It's been a lot of fun seeing the action up close. If you want to watch the racing this evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll be able to go on to SBS On Demand tonight And you'll have Scott McGorry and Kate Bates calling all the action on SBS On Demand, and we'll be back tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, actually. I think it's 1 o'clock start tomorrow. It's a bit of a late start on Sunday. So after you've been for your ride in the morning, you'll be able to watch all the action before session number 5, day 3. Check our social media guides as the week goes on. But we'll be back tomorrow for the first session of the day on the AusCycling YouTube channel. They head down the back straight this time. Hamish Clarkson leads the way. Only one's going to miss out here. Queenslander up the inside, Harry Preston, just trying to put himself in a position where he can get on the end of the train and get himself moved through to the front. They go down the back straight. Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia. One rider to miss out. The Queenslander is moving himself forward, but he is moving himself into quite the box here. Clarkson on the front. Up round him is Zane Fisher. Kai Arbery laying off. He's going to move up round the outside now. So, can Harry Preston muscle his way through into third wheel? Yes, he can. Kai Arbery's away with 1 lap to go. Arbery through the 200. They head down the back straight. Clarkson going out after him. A look over the shoulder for Preston. Don't worry about first and second. It's third place we're worrying about at the moment. Preston has a look. He's okay. Zane Fisher crosses the line in fourth. He'll miss out that time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings to a close our day session here today. Safe drive home for those of you leaving us. Make sure you get a nice refreshment inside you before you come back. 4:20 now, we'll be back racing at 6 o'clock.